Grew up knowing one thing very clearly: my sister Emily was the star of the family. From the outside, our house looked normal. 2 daughters, loving parents, a quiet suburban neighborhood. But inside those walls, everything revolved around Emily. Emily was what people call the golden child. Straight A's, dance competitions, piano recitals, trophies lining the living room shelves. Every weekend was another celebration of something she had achieved. And me, I was the background noise. At dinner, my parents would talk endlessly about Emily's future. Emily's teacher says she might qualify for the national scholarship, my mom would say proudly. Dad would nod. We need to invest in her future. She's going places. No one ever asked about my day. Not once. I still remember the night that made everything clear. I was 16. I had just won a regional science competition. It was the first big thing I had ever accomplished. I walked into the kitchen holding the certificate, my heart pounding with excitement. Mom, Dad, I won first place in the science fair, I said. My mother barely looked up from her laptop. That's nice, honey. Then she added the words that would stay with me forever. But try to keep it down. Emily has a dance competition tomorrow and needs to focus. That was it. No celebration. No hug. Nothing. That night I sat in my room staring at the certificate, slowly realizing something painful. In my family's story, I wasn't a main character. I was an inconvenience. Over the next 2 years, things got worse. Every dollar my parents had went toward Emily's dance academy, private coaches, travel competitions, and audition trips. When I asked about college applications, my father sighed. We can't afford 2 expensive futures, he said. My mom didn't even try to soften it. Emily has real potential. You're smart, you'll figure something out. Translation: she was worth the investment. I wasn't. So I figured something out. At 18, I packed a single suitcase, left a short note on the kitchen counter, and moved 3 states away. The note simply said, "Don't worry about me. Now you can focus on Emily." No one tried to stop me. No one called. For months, there was silence. The first years were brutal. I worked 2 jobs, waiting tables during the day and cleaning offices at night. I slept in a tiny studio apartment with peeling paint and a mattress on the floor. Some nights I wondered if my parents were right. Maybe I wasn't meant for anything big. But something inside me refused to quit. During those late-night cleaning shifts, I started listening to business podcasts through my headphones. I became obsessed with one idea: what if I built something of my own? Eventually I saved enough money to enroll in night classes. Marketing, finance, entrepreneurship. I studied like my life depended on it. Because it did. One idea changed everything. While working in restaurants, I noticed how small family businesses struggled with online orders and delivery systems. Most of them couldn't afford complicated tech platforms. So I built a simple solution. At first, it was just a small software tool I designed with the help of a freelance developer. But restaurants loved it. Within a year, 10 local restaurants were using it. Then 20. Then 50. Soon I had investors calling. 5 years after leaving home, my little project had turned into a fast-growing tech company helping thousands of small restaurants manage online orders. The girl my parents once called the one who would figure something out had quietly become the CEO of a multi-million-dollar startup. And they had no idea. Then one day, my phone rang. The caller ID showed a number I hadn't seen in almost 7 years. Mom. For a moment, I considered ignoring it. But curiosity won. I answered. Hello. There was a pause. Then her voice. Hi, sweetheart. She hadn't called me that in years. We heard about your company, she said carefully. Turns out, a business magazine had just published a feature story about my startup. Apparently success has a funny way of making people remember you exist. So, we were thinking, she continued. Maybe you could come home for dinner sometime. Emily would love to see you. Emily. Of course. I agreed. Part of me wanted closure. Another part wanted them to finally see the daughter they ignored. When I walked into the house for the first time in 7 years, almost nothing had changed. Except the trophy shelves were gone. Emily sat at the table, looking tired. Her dance career hadn't gone the way everyone expected. Injuries. Missed opportunities. Debt from years of training. My parents looked older too. Nervous. Dinner was awkward. Small talk. Careful smiles. Then my father finally said what they had really called about. We were wondering, if you might help Emily. There it was. Not we're proud of you. Not we're sorry. Just business. She's thinking about opening a dance studio, Mom added quickly. Your company experience could really help. I looked around the table. For the first time in my life, everyone was waiting for my decision. The quiet daughter. The forgotten one. I thought about the nights I cried alone in that tiny apartment. The years without a single phone call. And then I took a deep breath. I'll help Emily, I said. Their faces lit up instantly. But I held up my hand. On one condition. They froze. This time, I said calmly, I'm not the invisible daughter. I turned to Emily. If you want my help, we do this as partners. Equal respect. Equal effort. Emily looked at me for a long moment. Then she nodded. I'd like that. And for the first time in our lives, we weren't competing for our parents' approval. We were simply two sisters starting over. Sometimes the people who overlook you the most, are the ones who are shocked when you succeed without them, and sometimes the best revenge isn't anger. It's building a life so strong, that the people who once ignored you finally have to see you.